You know, we have a fake news that doesn't get the word out. That's why I love doing an interview. We get the word out. Mm-hmm. But so you ask a question. In 50 years, a president that won, even a popular president, somebody that's done well. I'm popular and I've done well. I mean, I think we have the greatest economy actually ever in history.
That consumer confidence number is a good sign as you head into this speech because it was low. And there are people that are feeling pain from this economy.
All right, when Fox News are citing the pain that Trump has created, you know that it's bad for the president. For a long time, conservative media outlets, notably Fox News in particular, have functioned as a protective echo chamber for President Donald Trump's political messaging. But this week, it marked a striking break from that pattern. And it wasn't just a fringe contributor or even a Democratic guest that was invited on, but none other than Fox News' chief political anchor, Brett Baier, who decided to shelve his typically sympathetic approach to the president and openly acknowledge that Americans are, quote, feeling pain from the economy, and that polls reflect that pain in unmistakable ways.
So the economy, as Bill says, will loom very large in the president's address to the nation tonight. We got Brett Baier, anchor of Special Report, live on the set with us now. Brett, the perfect person to tell us everything we need to know about the speech. Let's start with the latest polls on the economy. We think it's where the president's going to leap off tonight. Latest polls out of Fox News show 40% of Americans approve of his handling of the economy to a 59% disapproval. Numbers pretty similar, up and down a couple of points from Washington Post and ABC News polls.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a focus on the economy. Good morning, Jillian. I think that there's going to be a real significant part of this speech that deals with what they see, what they passed with the big, beautiful bill, what people they believe, the administration believes, are starting to feel and will feel as the year progresses. That consumer confidence number is a good sign as you head into this speech because it was low. And there are people that are feeling pain from this economy, and and you see that in polls all up and down. The president's going to spend a lot of time on the economy, but he has a full plate of issues to deal with. Iran, the fallout from Venezuela. He will react to the Supreme Court and the tariffs, and you wonder how that's going to go with the Supreme Court justices, several of them in the front row, listening to the speech. So it'll be fascinating to see. Expect these stories weaving in all of these elements with real people as examples, because the president has done that before and he will do it again.
Now, this comes after the president got in front of the camera recently and slammed every poll as fake before acknowledging then that maybe they weren't fake, and instead he just speaks to the silent voter.
Kristi Noem, our people, they've been incredible, the job they've done. And they take nothing but abuse, but, you know, they're sort of pretty hardened to that, I think, because they know they're doing the right thing. It just amazes me that there's not more support out there. It's just, we actually have a silent support. I think it's silent. I think well, that's how I won. I got probably 85 million votes. They say 78 million, 79 million. They cheated in this election, too. It was just too big to rig. Too big to rig.
But the pain that the Fox News host cited here is rooted in real polling that shows Donald Trump's political standing is far from in good stead. National polling aggregators show Trump's approval rating underwater in the high 30s to low 40s, with disapproval dominating by double-digit margins. Take, for instance, a recent Washington Post ABC News Ipsos poll that finds that roughly 60% of Americans disapprove of the president's performance, a level that even Fox's other anchors have been reluctant to ignore. Disapproval is especially acute among independents, a crucial swing bloc where roughly 69% express opposition to Trump's job performance. Again, not fringe results. They are consistent across multiple surveys and reflect a broad sense of unease with the economy, the leadership as a whole, and presidential authority.
Yeah, the 2024 election was about a feeling that Donald Trump was going to change course. And the first year of the Trump presidency has not accomplished that, which is why his numbers are in the toilet in every single category. Our market has done well, but compared to other industrialized countries, we actually haven't done as well as they have. I think we're number 21 of 23 countries. I just saw that chart flying around online. And Donald Trump is in Texas today because the GOP is in trouble. He should not have to be going to safe districts and safe states. But it's not because of this John Cornyn, Ken Paxton fight, which is ugly. And Wesley Hunt as well. You should check out John Cornyn's ad about Ken Paxton, about his corruption and all his affairs as a man getting divorced on biblical grounds, which feels very Texas values to me. And no one who's spoken before me has mentioned anything about the reality on the ground for Texans. So the median income in Texas is just below $74,000 a year. It's $81,000 for the nation. They paid $1,200 last year for Trump's tariffs per family. U.S. farms are going bankrupt across the country, $15,000 in the last year. The biggest decline was in Texas. SNAP benefits are going to go away for $1.5 million.
Jessica, why is everybody moving to Texas?
They're not, and they're also
bad
the people who did go are going back from whence they came. Without the ACA subsidies extension, 3.7 million Texans will see their premiums double. It's all very funny. And on the energy front, energy prices in Texas have not increased at the level in other states because of renewables, because of clean energy projects. And Donald Trump has cut, I think, 223 of them in the latest slashing from October, 7.5 billion out of there. So he's going to go in and he's going to say, drill, baby, drill. And he's going to hold up the Venezuelan oil, which, by the way, he might just be profiting straight into his own bank account from. When renewable energy is the energy of the future, doesn't mean you can't have a nuclear plant, doesn't mean you shouldn't be drilling. But we know that clean energy is keeping prices down where it is. And on a national scale, obviously, electricity costs are up.
But when the network's lead anchor acknowledges that people are feeling pain, it's not just commentary. It's basically the network admitting that the man they often coddle and portray as an economic god has taken the keys to a brand new car and drove it headfirst into a tree. And it's no longer just the outlier pushing back on Fox, like, say, Jessica Tarlov, or in this instance, but other Fox voices have similarly confronted Donald Trump's numbers rather than hide them. Look at this recent examples where Fox News anchors put dismal economic approval numbers directly to administration officials like J.D. Vance, forcing responses about Trump's performance.
To the issue that might clip this administration, and that's the economy. On screen now, we can show you three of the most recent polls about the economy and how about Americans are feeling about it. Everything in red. Our Fox polling disapproves at 59%, Washington Post, ABC News 57%, Wall Street Journal at 54%. It seems like you're pushing a car uphill. And you've got 9 months to turn it around. You know Democrats are juiced. They are ready to vote tomorrow. Do you have enough runway to get this economy where it needs to be before November?
Well, Bill, in some ways, we are pushing a car uphill because the Biden administration left us such a disaster of an economy.
And other hosts discussed how disastrous Trump's policies have been, that even farmers are opposing the president, once a staple supporter of MAGA.
Looking at this, we've got a new report and it shows the number of US farms went down last year. Actually, give me the numbers.
Well, those stats are shocking, Stu. The number of US farms shrank by 15,000 in 2025. Yes, it brings the total to 1.865 million, still a lot, but farmland is continuing to face pressure from economic factors such as urbanization and low or basically negative returns per acre. You're losing money. According to the American Farm Bureau, it is part of a long-lasting decline. We've seen it year after year, while farm bankruptcies, by the way, are on the rise. The largest decline at the state level was Texas. No surprise, it's lost 2,000 farm operations, while no state saw an increase in farms at all. Last year, Illinois, for example, lost 400, Iowa and Indiana 500, Minnesota a whopping 1,300. The numbers show that the numbers of farms decreased in every economic category except for farms that make $1 million or more in sales each year, which actually saw a minor increase of 50 farms. But any way you look at it or try to paint it, it's a pretty grim picture.
And these moments, when they all add up, they are significant. They suggest that even Commentators and hosts whose platforms traditionally offer protective coverage are now having to cite data that reflects real voter dissatisfaction, rather than presenting selective figures designed solely to bubble wrap Trump's image. And Trump's excuses that they're all fake news and fake polls, well, they lose steam when the news and polls are coming from the Murdoch manipulation network.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.